Good morning, kids. I'm so excited to have Miss Jennifer here with us this morning.
Hello. Hey, guys.
I'm sure you've missed her. I miss seeing her smiling face too. It's so good to have her here. But she's going to join us and help with the teaching a little bit this morning because I know you've missed her face. And maybe she'll give us an update on what she's been up to lately. So we'll talk about that at the end. But I hope you celebrated your moms last week and then you came by and got your airplane. Now, while we're filming this, we haven't done our airplane challenge with the staff yet. So by Sunday morning, I'll type in the comments who's won, and you can watch, the replay on YouTube. So make sure you do that. And cheer for me, because I think I'm going to win, at least in beauty. Maybe distance too, but. So we've been talking about deny your selfie. So we've been talking about different phones. So I wanted to bring this phone that was at my house when I was little. So that way they could see. You would talk into here. No, you would listen. Sorry, I'm getting it wrong. And you would talk into here and you dialed your phone number that you were calling. So, and then it plugged into the wall. And actually, this one was hardwired into the wall. There wasn't even an outlet. So, I made my mom dig it out of the attic this morning so that way we could see it and get something different. But on my phone, now, when I look, I can look at the contacts and see that I have tons of friends that I can call. So, tons of people I can call. So, we're going to talk about that. So, phones have changed a lot. From here to here, especially. They used to be connected to an outlet in the wall or hardwired in. They weren't portable until I think I was about 16 and I got a cell phone in the car and it plugged in to the outlet in there. Yeah. And it was in a big bag.
Bag
and
phone.
It came with me everywhere I went. And I couldn't use it because it was very expensive to make a call. But anyway, I had it for an emergency. So, but phones, they had simple 10 digits and 2 symbols, like a hashtag, which we called a pound sign, and a star. And we use those for different things. But anyway, now it's a hashtag. But now they have full keyboards. We can type on our phones and we can do lots of things. And it's in color. I mean, the phones we all had, they were never in color. We have high definition screens. It's just like crazy. But there's a place in your settings menu where you can look and see what apps are being used the most on my phone. So my guess is on my phone, I'd probably see the camera and the social media sites more than making a phone call because I don't call that much. And I bet that's the same with your parents too, and maybe yourself. And that's a real shame because it's nice to talk to somebody. These devices were intended to be a way to stay in touch with other people. They're the perfect tool for reaching out and loving others. Instead, many people use them only to love on themselves and take selfies everywhere they go. So this week, I want to challenge you to reach out to your friends list. And your moms may have your friends on their phones. So reach out and give them a call and see what they're up to. Write a note or send a letter, but let's turn our camera on to someone else and maybe take a selfie with a friend. Now that I have my friend here, maybe we'll take a selfie together before we leave. So anyway, but I was thinking today, so our lesson, I want you to learn that a great person serves others. And so we want to help others before we help ourselves. The main thing I want you to get out of this is I think about this when I think of this, that when I have someone over for dinner, maybe a family over, I'm going to make sure that they get served first and then myself. And we're in the back of the line when that happens, not the front. So I want you to remember that. But back in the fall of 1998, the first preview for Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, was released. It wasn't released on YouTube, and it wasn't announced on Twitter or Facebook because they didn't exist. Lucasfilm announced its release on their own website, telling Star Wars fans exactly what day the trailer was going to play in theaters for the first time and what movie it would play at or what movie it would play with. The day after the trailer played in theaters, something very unexpected happened. It appeared on the internet. It was not supposed to be shown on the internet, but a fan videotaped it in the theater and converted it to digital and uploaded it to the internet. But fans who had internet access were able to download and watch the trailer with a crazy mob of Star Wars fans in the background screaming their heads off. Lucasfilm responded to the video leak by releasing a high-quality version of the trailer later that week. And from that day forward, movie studios began using the internet as a place to release their new trailers. So today, YouTube is not the only place to see tons of movie trailers. It's also a place to see countless videos of movie fans reacting to movie trailers. But my thing is, the kids, they watch videos on YouTube of kids playing with toys and opening packages of toys. So that's the same kind of thing. Y'all are watching videos of somebody else doing the things that maybe you want to do, which is kind of interesting to me. To me, it's boring. I don't know where y'all get that from. But anyway, so I'm not sure where that trend came from, but it's very popular. And we like to watch other people doing things. So, but these people that are doing that are putting themselves first. They're not putting others first. And so that's what we want to talk about today. So last week we started talking, or 2 weeks ago, we started talking about deny your selfie. We wanted to become followers of Christ who put God and other people ahead of ourselves. Instead of putting our face on the screens to promote ourselves, we want to love God and love others. The acronym JOY, J-O-Y, reminds us that we put Jesus first, others second, and ourselves third. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we talked about Jesus and putting him first. Today, Jesus is going to remind us that anyone who wants to be first in his book needs to put other people ahead of themselves too. Could you read our Bible story today, Jennifer?
Sure. It's from Mark chapter 10, verse 35. It is James and John ask a favor of Jesus. James and John came to Jesus. They were the sons of Zebedee. Teacher, they said, we would like to ask a favor of you. What do you want me to do for you? He asked. They replied, let one of us sit at your right hand in this glorious kingdom. Let the other one sit at your left hand. You don't know what you're asking for, Jesus said. Can you drink the cup of suffering I drink? Or can you go through the baptism of suffering I must go through? We can, they answered. Jesus said to them, you will drink the cup I drink, and you will go through the baptism I go through. But it is not for me to say who will sit at my right or left hand. These places belong to those they are prepared for. The other 10 disciples heard about it. They became angry at James and John. Jesus called them together. He said, you know about those who are rulers of the nations. They hold power over their people. Their high officials order them around. Don't be like that. Instead, anyone who wants to be important among you must be your servant, and anyone who wants to be first must be the slave of everyone. Even the Son of Man did not come to be served. Instead, he came to serve others. He came to give his life as the price for setting many people free.
Thank you, Jennifer. So John and James, they were two of the first disciples who followed Jesus. They knew Jesus' popularity was growing, but they had been Jesus fans from the beginning. They wanted to make sure that they got their due respect. And they asked Jesus if they could be his right and left-hand man, just like Jennifer told us. In Jesus' time, people aspired to sit at the head of the table. And even in my time, I wanted to sit at the head of the table when we were little, but that was my dad's spot. But that sounds a lot like our culture today, where we have selfies and reaction videos and other clever ways to promote ourselves instead of someone else. Jesus turned his disciples' understanding of this upside down. You want to be important, he said? Good. Then become a servant of others. Love your neighbor. Help people. Let them sit at the high end of the table. Put others first, and then you can have a place of importance in my kingdom. Jesus isn't interested in how many likes or follows we have. He is interested in how many people you have helped, how many people you've prayed for, how many times you've sacrificed to help someone in need. Jesus wants us to love others the way he loved us, so that they may see the love of Christ in our actions. Being the servant of all doesn't mean we have to be a doormat and be walked on. God doesn't want us to do that. But there's a big difference between putting others first and being a doormat. To put it in selfie terms, we stop using the camera that looks at us and we use the camera on the back of the phone that looks out. Just like the last time we talked about it. We look around and we see who's in need and what we can do to help them. If you want to know what this looks like, just look for Jesus. Jesus was never too good to talk to anyone. He took time for cheating tax collectors, for people who were sick with leprosy, for people who are blind and disabled. He made time for men and women equally, and he even made time for children. Although he was the Son of God, he did not seek to be made an earthly king. Instead, he was arrested, wrongfully accused of a crime, beaten and crucified. Jesus gave up his life so that he could give us eternal life. If Jesus is our leader and Jesus humbled himself in such a powerful way, how can any of us say we deserve to promote ourselves? Instead of trying to get the most followers, we need to be the best follower of Jesus we can be. That means we give more likes than we receive. So even our parents, when we're on Facebook or Instagram, let's give out likes and not look to where we're getting the most of them. And that's hard to do sometimes. Mm-hmm. But I think we can all agree a good friend is one who gives more than receives. But so being that my good friend Jennifer's here with us, I'm dying to find out, what have you been doing during this whole crazy time?
I've actually had an opportunity to continue to work. I'm very blessed with that, to help people become familiar with the new normal, where they weren't able to come into the office, and get them to be comfortable calling on the phone and not coming in to pay a water bill.
Because Jennifer works at the town of Mount Pleasant.
Correct. And basically, I was trying my best to help them become comfortable, so I continued to work. I did have a lot of extra time on my hands because I worked every other day. Was able to get things done at home and make more dinners and play in the yard and do those kind of things.
Now, I know the kids want to know about Sarah, too.
Yes. Sarah was able to stay at home and get her homework done, which she did not like. She likes the interaction with people and missed it a lot. And she misses you all. She was kind of bummed about being at home.
Yeah.
A lot, too much time.
Right. But it was good you were there every other day. I didn't realize that.
Yes.
So is your house spotless, or is it like mine and still a mess?
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah. I haven't gotten everything done that I wanted to either.
I had a lot of lists.
But being at the town, do the fire trucks still run and everything's still working? And can you reassure them about that?
Yes.
That ain't closed down?
Yeah, everything still stayed on target with police, fire, and the sheriff and all that. They stayed on their regular schedules. They had things done differently where they had to protect themselves and make sure they didn't have a fever, and wear gloves and protection, which is totally different than what they're used to. But for the most part, they have stayed on task and are there to help whenever anybody needs it.
That's great. Well, we're so lucky that we had Jennifer come and visit with us a little bit today. And I can't wait till she comes back. So show her the love and give us lots of likes. That sounded bad, didn't it, Jennifer?
That sounds good.
So you do give us some likes, and send me a picture of what you're doing and what your friends are doing, and reach out and call somebody. It's good to see old friends. So take care, and we'll see you next week.
All right, bye guys. Y'all have a great week.